You know what? I think that the prospect of rate change and fundamental monetary policy change in Japan has become very different. I think there's even a possibility that we will not see fundamental change in monetary policy here, contrary to what a lot of people have been saying for many months now. Those wage data that you referred to just now are very ambiguous. And even before those wage data came out, we've had figures like declining producer price index. We've had figures on wage intentions by Japanese companies, which were gathered by one of the ministries over here, Ministry of Health and Labour. And those figures were very different in their tone to the idea of steadily increasing inflation in the Japanese economy. There's a real question whether that monetary policy change, again, is going to happen at all. And I would be going against a lot of the consensus, which is saying, hey, Japan's back to inflation, we're back to maybe 1980s situation, buy inflation plays, because I think that story is maybe over right now. And so the second half of your question, small caps, I think this is their day. This is their hour, because as you well know, small caps are generally more vulnerable to rising rates. In market terms, they're perceived as sufferers from a rising yield curve because people prefer to buy export plays. I think during those times, this is their day if, in fact, the monetary policy change story isn't going to happen.
So, Richard, back to the first part of your answer, if we could. I mean, you're out of consensus in terms of what you're expecting the BOJ to do or rather not do, right? But you are very much tracking history, and you should know because you're an old Japan hand. You've been there for years, right? And historically, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is in tough times, right, when governments have their backs to the wall, right, they would, for the workers, right, they would throw them some crumbs, right, here, have some wage hikes and wage raises, etc. And that keeps them happy for a little while. But the corporates, they do not follow through. I mean, we hear all this talk about improving corporate governance and running public-owned companies on the behalf of shareholders as opposed to family owners, etc. But I mean, this part of it, sharing the pie or the wealth, doesn't seem to have changed. Why is that?
There are a lot of premises in what you said just now, which I maybe want to challenge. One of them is if you look at the apples to apples wage increase of the average Mr. Salaryman, can I say Mr. Suzuki or something, it's actually gone up. It's gone up consistently. That doesn't show up in the overall wage data that people look at because of the effect of temporary workers who diluted the average wage, okay? The apples to apples real earnings of the Japanese worker over decades has gone up. And it's not necessarily fair to say that corporates have not been sharing the profits around, because I think they have. I very much agree with the first thing you said. The government will do anything it can to keep people happy, and there's a tremendously rigorous and comprehensive incentive policy the Japanese government has, I think, far more effective than other major economies, partly because Japan doesn't have to deal with different branches of government, executive and legislature. It's just the parliament. If they want to do things, they do things. That's great. But the wage debate is separate to that. And again, I say wages haven't actually been that bad. The flip side of that is we should not expect suddenly a major change in wage policy, which would actually imply a major change in inflation readings, because wages have already been okay. There's not that much pressure to change them. And again, on the inflation story, the idea that the Bank of Japan has suddenly to change its accommodative stance, I don't think the data support that.
All right.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.